GWATA TV gives you a first look at North Central Washington's business news. You'll hear from our local business, tech, and education companies as Jenny discusses hot topics and current events with some of the best innovators and pioneers in North Central Washington.
So my name is Lindsey Weidenbach. I'm an attorney at Jeffers, Danielson, Sonn Alyward. We call it GWATA law these days. I have been there for 8 years. I'm a partner, and I work mostly with small businesses, startups, a lot of ag industry, and we cover most areas of law. Last time I looked, I think this is still true, GWATA is the largest law firm between Seattle and Spokane. I grew up in Kashmir and moved back here really because of the community that we have, and it's very inspiring to see new businesses and entrepreneurs taking this valley in lots of different directions. So I'm happy to be here, and with me is Kyle Hendrickson of Foray Cofee, Allie Jordan of the Happy Crop Shop, and William Grant with Escape Testing. So we're going to talk to the three of them about their businesses and get to know what's going on. So briefly introduce yourself and tell us about your business.
Okay, I'm on. Good. My name is Kyle Hendrickson, like she said, and Foray Cofee is a way to order coffee through an app and get it without waiting when you get there. So it's fairly simple. It's taken a while to get there, but it sounds simple when I say it that way. Yeah.
It says it's beta testing.
Yeah, we've beta tested for a long time. Yeah.
Good to know. It's going to come out.
Yeah, is that a good enough? Okay.
I am a co-founder and co-owner of the Happy Crop Shop here in the Valley, a retail cannabis company, and we also do have a medical staff. They're not doctors, but we have trained medical for the marijuana field, and I actually also opened a marketing company in 2015 as well.
My name is William Gant. I am the co-owner of Escape Tactics LLC here at the Escape Room. That is located both in Wenatchee and Leavenworth. So we recently opened a new location in Leavenworth last week. An escape room is pretty much like a live puzzle room experience. And so for those who do know or don't know, we offer fun, interactive puzzle experiences for companies, teams, families, and friends. And so pretty much you participate in a kind of a communication team building experience. And I grew up mostly on the East Coast. I studied over on the East Coast doing marketing, and then eventually moved overseas to China and gained a lot of experience from that. And then coming back over, I just wanted to seek new opportunities, found that there was a lot more to do, and so it ended up in Wenatchee. I'm sure I'll explain a lot more about that as well.
Well, and since you're talking about it, William, who is your customer with Escape Tactics? What do you sell, and what's unique about what you have going on?
So it's great. At the escape room, our customer is anybody who wants to have fun. It sounds easy, or let's say teams or companies who are looking to do something where you'll increase your team efficiency through communication. How many have done the escape room by any chance? Or okay, so quite a few. Very cool. It's lovely to see that. We really encourage it. We are very proud that there's such a great kind of a sense of community in the area that want to support us as well, but we try our best to express it. So our client is anybody who is looking to do something fun or different, anybody who is a company or a team looking to do something as well. But ultimately, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that in general, we've hosted anything from that kind of sector. Yeah.
Great. And Allie, the Happy Crop Shop has both recreational marijuana and medical. So tell us a little bit about your customer base.
So our customer base is anyone over the age of 21. So you have to be 21 with proper identification to be able to enter the store, be on the premise. So we have a store in Kashmir, Wenatchee, and in East Wenatchee. And so anyone really looking to use cannabis either to relax or whatever your personal choice is, or on the medical side, the state has kind of revamped the medical system, and you can apply through that with proper documentation from a doctor, and you can get a caregiver. And so if you are 18, you are able to have a caregiver who can come in on behalf of you or with you and specifically look at medical products. And we have anything from lotions to tinctures to edibles, smokables, drinkables, almost anything you can think of as far as both marijuana, like the THC side, which is the psychoactive where you are going to feel high, or the CBD side where you're going to feel pain relief. So, and we do have, like I said, medically trained staff in the cannabis area. So they've had to take state courses and get state regulated and pass state courses in regards to CBD and advising for patients who come in looking for whatever kind of relief they need.
I think this is like one of the harder questions, and Lyle in the front row was just asking me, what do you do? I don't want to download an app. How do I get coffee? And I was like, well, we have a cafe, that's the best. So who's our customer? You have to have a smartphone and access to a credit or debit card. You have to have a smartphone, either iOS, so an Apple device, or an Android device. And so I've tried to have our apps ready for today, so sorry we can't download them. We're still in beta testing. I almost did it by today. So pretty soon. But so anybody with Android or iOS device that likes coffee, local, so we're focused on local and high quality. So it just so happens we buy from ourselves right now, but we would also buy other coffee that's good, and are looking for actually other suppliers for good food. So kind of one of the ideas is if you love something and it's hard to access and it's made locally, then we would like to potentially source that and make it more available.
And you had a background in the ag industry and then went into coffee with Cafe Mela. So why was this your chosen field? Why coffee?
That's a good question. My wife got me into drinking coffee in college, and until then I didn't really care about it, and then I've cared about it a lot since then.
Yeah.
And I worked down the street from Cafe Mela, and my job was buying orchards, and then this cafe, I knew the people because I would go there to avoid doing accounting as much as possible.
That sounds
and then we ended up buying it. So always loved the cafe culture from Seattle, went to school in Seattle, and then cared about Cafe Mela. My wife and I felt like when Cafe Mela went in and then Iwa Sushi went in, we could move back to Wenatchee. I don't know what that says about us, but we were excited about it. And then, it was going for sale. We loved the place, and then ended up working out that we could buy it. So that's sort of the entrance into coffee, but I couldn't have bought it. I'm not a coffee roaster, and I'm not a champion barista, but we had a really good coffee roaster and actually like a latte art champion barista at the cafe when I bought it. Otherwise, I couldn't have bought it. So.
It wasn't an industry that I ever thought that I would have been a part of. It wasn't something that was in my life prior to it. So I was going to school and I was getting my public relations degree. I had just transferred from the business department, getting my marketing degree to get a communications degree. And we were sitting with some of our now business partners and talking about the industry, and it had legalized and the state was starting to move forward with applications to get retail stores, to get grows. And that particular business partner was in the medical industry prior to it going recreational. And we started talking about the opportunities, and we started talking about applying and getting a store, and the talks became action, and before you know it, we're applying for stores, we're looking for places to do business, we're looking for leases, and then we got contacted by the state that we did, in fact, get one of the first 10 licenses in the state, and the only one in the valley. So we opened in East Wenatchee, near Larry's Chicken 5 years ago. This July, we opened in July 14th, 2014. So that was really, it kind of sounds silly, but fell into our lap. It was just kind of talking about it, and then all of a sudden, well, we're applying and we're getting licenses, and it sounds super easy, but it's an extremely difficult industry to be a part of. It's the most regulated industry in the country, even though it's federally illegal. That's one of the reasons it is so strict. It's extremely difficult to get an application through and actually licensed. So it's backwards from any other industry. You have to you have to find your lease or your business where you want to do business. You've got to build it out. You have to have full security system, your entire layout. Every piece of your business plan, and then you can submit it to the state, and then they'll let you know if you're viable and whether or not you're in the running to get a license. So it's extremely backwards from any other industry. I think if I really would have put too much thought into all of the things that could go wrong, it could scare you easily. But I was just getting out of college, literally a month to the day that I graduated. We opened our first store. So not somewhere I thought I would be, but definitely a great opportunity. And it's fun to be a part of it because it is new, and it's just fun to be able to carve that path and help try and destigmatize.
When I returned back from China, I think it's kind of all most entrepreneurs, you have a decision on kind of what you want to do, and you're still trying to figure your way out. And this was back in 2014. I had done an escape room in China. I thought it was something that was really exciting. Over there are fewer rules, so it was really exciting. There were some really cool props and things that we can't legally do over here, so it was much more exciting. But, I remember that one. But when I returned, I was working in Virginia, and then my business partner now had approached me with this idea that she had opened one in Oklahoma and approached me, and we had met over in China some years back when we were doing internships, and she said, hey, I've got this great idea. I started one in Oklahoma, and I would love to move south and open another one. And as an entrepreneur, you sit there and you think, okay, so what's the risk? What do you do? And I was in Virginia, and this was a big move. And I said, sure. Having grown up in a military family and being very comfortable with moving around, and I think that was kind of exciting to me to know that one day we'll have to just agree or to settle down to say, hey, we can't do this anymore. And so I made the decision to move south, and we opened an escape room in Fort Myers, Florida, which we are still connected with as well. And then, and I'll explain this a little bit more, but eventually, yeah, I was approached with the idea, decided to go with it. We each have our own skill set. We were all just kind of created this foundation in Fort Myers, and then a year later we would move to Wenatchee for a reason, of course, not like we closed our eyes and threw a dart or something like that, but purely there was a reason, of course. But that was pretty much it. I had interest because I was approached with the idea. I stepped forward, decided to take the opportunity. I felt like it was a great opportunity, and it's been great ever since.
And I would imagine that there's folks that think that your industry is more of a trend, or that it would be something that people go to that live here in the Valley once and then they never return to. That it's more geared toward a tourist, and maybe that's why there's a Leavenworth location. How do you keep escape tactics relevant in our area?
So we opened the Leavenworth location because initially when we had visited the area, we were on a vacation back in the fall of 2016. We were ready to expand. We just wanted to find a location. We wanted to explore the Pacific Northwest. We visited Leavenworth. Of course, we fell in love with the area. We visited Wenatchee. We found it to be quite a beautiful community. It was nice to be moving from the East Coast to the West Coast where people are a little more friendly, which is great to see that.
That's
very true. And that was all attractive, and we were ready to do that. So Leavenworth was definitely our goal. It's definitely a huge tourist attraction. That was one of the kind of market, and we'll talk about market research, but that was great. So in terms of trends, the escape room industry has been in the United States for about 11 years. It started in California in 2008, and ever since it's been growing. Places like California, most major cities like Seattle, have anywhere from 5 to 10 different escape rooms, different companies. Some are franchises, some are unique. So like our own, we build our own puzzles. We want to keep it unique. That's why we feel it's kind of a great product for us. In terms of trend, I think it's fun because a lot of people do ask that. They say, it sounds like it's a game. My kids would love it. And in reality, most of our customers, our median age is about 35, so that of Wenatchee. Most of our customers, especially a third of those customers, are companies and teams looking to do their team building, and then additionally it's friends and families coming from out of town. We're proud to say that about 20 to 25% of our customers are return customers. That's the biggest thing that's kept us successful in Wenatchee. People have done one of our rooms, and as important it is, it's very important to have a good product. People will clearly do business if you have a good product. We've been lucky that people have enjoyed what we do. We have high reviews across the board, and we're very thankful for that. So people will do one of the rooms, and about 20 to 25 have either done the second room, and again, we change. So in terms of staying innovative or staying above the trend aspect, you have to always grow and be innovative. So Along with the escape room that we have in Wenatchee, when we first opened, we had 2 room scenarios you could choose from. Additionally, we change our rooms every 14 to 16 months, really depends on demand. So we've changed our rooms once, or at least one of those. We do a mobile room, so during the summer times, for example, 2 weeks ago, we participated in the Royal City Summerfest. So we get invited by different communities and different organizations to come and provide our escape room experience to them in the form of a tent where we can actually have our experience indoors for participants to do. And then thirdly, it would be, we have also additionally a escape room box. Essentially, it's like a board game that you can take at home and bring that experience to you to kind of bring back that Sunday night game night. So if there were 3 ways that we would kind of stay above the trend or try to express that, would be changing the rooms frequently, but enough time to give people a chance to try one or both of our rooms. 2, taking it on the go, mobily, so we can allow people to ask or request us to come to do a venue. For example, we're actually doing a wedding in August, so someone actually was like, hey, we want the escape room at the wedding, and we were like, of course, we'll do everything. So last year we participated in 5 events, so we were at the NCW Fair, Chelan County Fair, the Oktoberfest, the Fest Hall in Leavenworth, and so it's fun that we can take this experience, get a sample of what it is on a 15 to 20 minute basis, and then have people want to do the full experience. And then, of course, lastly was the board game that we sell additionally. So people who do attend the escape room want to take it home, they can as well. So you just got to stay ahead. You have the ideas, keep moving, even if you don't have the space at the time. And so
Keep innovating.
Absolutely. For those who haven't done it, of course, and I think it's hard, and I'll explain the connotations to it, of course, but yeah, the escape room is generally a room. It's not scary in any way. It's themed and decorated. In Wenatchee, we have a 1700s Bavarian theme. We want to stay with Leavenworth. In Leavenworth, it's a modern-day beer garden. No, we don't sell beer, although I wish we could. But it's all themed and decorated around the puzzles so that somebody can engage in a fun and exciting experience. The doors are never locked. There's always an emergency exit. It's plenty of room. I have had a lot of companies ask, what are the dimensions? My staff is worried about doing it. What are the dimensions of your room? And I say, oh, okay. Or people who've actually come and explored themselves beforehand. And at the end of the day, we want to be accommodating. It's a fun experience, but yes, definitely not scary.
Okay, good. Maybe I'll come. Yeah. And the question for everybody is, market research is often a key foundation to starting a new business. What market research was available to you? Were you able to research other markets? And how did you build your business plan without the traditional knowledge that somebody might seek out in the business planning stage? And Kyle, we'll start with you, since you're in beta testing.
Well, can you say the last part of the question? How did you without what?
How did you build your business plan without traditional knowledge that one might have from other examples?
How do you know I didn't have traditional knowledge?
I don't know that. I don't know that.
Offended.
Well,
No,
because for you, I mean, I've not heard of an app-based coffee shop.
Yeah, so our business is kind of built out of problems. So we have our own problems. Like usually entrepreneurs are supposed to, like your coach, to go find pain. Go find a pain point, solve it, make sure that people will pay to solve that pain, and then build a business around that, something like that. That's a pretty common way to do something. Then you have to figure out, well, if I solved it, is there a big enough market? Can this be a business, or am I just inventing something? So we have our own pain at our business. Like minimum wage is really terrible, actually, for like getting hiked up to $13.50 next year. So we'll try to stay in business at our cafe, and then we have things like, well, a lot of my relatives go through the Starbucks drive-thru, and we own our cafe, and it's like, why don't you come? Well, you're way across town, and it's not very convenient. We're going the other direction. We have a lot of customers for Mela that are out and about and can't access our product. So from a business perspective, or you imagine sitting there and it's like, that's a little frustrating, so that's a pain point. Knowing that people would buy your product, but they can't find it, like that's sort of silly at some level. So we have our own pain that we're essentially trying to solve through this Foray coffee business model and like the technology, and everything that's invented there is sort of we started by trying to solve those pain points, and then we thought, well, if we're going to do it, why don't we kind of reinvent the coffee drive-thru? Because we could just make a Mela coffee drive-thru. But then once we started thinking, well, there's all these technology trends, and this maybe gets more into the research side,
right?
Market research. But for us, it didn't start there, but you have to get there because then you have to pitch it to people and get people on board to invest in it, to want to work there and stuff. So that's sort of where, for me personally, I'm not prescribing this, but that's where it works for our business. Like, it started with pain and saying, well, how can we reinvent this? Okay, here's some technology. Can we build this? Here's some new other things. Okay, now we have a model that will work sort of as an invention. And then you have to go, okay, well, what does the market say? Is there a market for this? Is this an invention that matters or not? And so that's where the market research comes in, and we have access to a lot of market research on the specialty coffee market in the United States, because we're part of the Specialty Coffee Association. And that's just high-end coffee, people trying to push coffee higher and better. And so we can see that that's actually a great market. It's a really growing, fast-growing market that sort of, a lot of people are adopting high-end coffee all the time.
It's like craft coffee, essentially,
Yeah,
right?
just like I mean, Starbucks is sort of included in that, but Starbucks has made a way. It's called third wave usually, or like it's a lot of story about the origin and the growers and a lot of stuff. You guys, I'm sure you've all seen, this. This is like, it's kind of like craft beer, right?
Yeah.
Or local wineries and stuff. Like, you want the terroir and you want the story, and you have the sustainability parts, and there's a lot of story to that. So we have a lot of market research there, like seeing that market is growing and good is really encouraging. Like, it would be discouraging otherwise, but it's encouraging. And then mobile ordering is early, but it's growing a lot. So there's a lot of market research you can just find on the internet about mobile ordering. Everybody knows like that Starbucks is doing it, and now everybody's trying to kind of jump into mobile ordering. So if those things weren't true, if they were going in a different direction, that would be bad for us.
Right.
So, but it feels fairly positive, and for us, it's just how fast can we get in there? How fast can we get a good product? And talk about being fast or not later, but we're sort of not. But we hope to accelerate.
And so with the app, you'll be able to place your order, and then the baristas will know where you're at with
The
with the
baristas,
order?
kind of, but no, the baristas don't know where you're at. Nobody really knows where you're at. We use GPS, like the server will use GPS in order to help us place the order on the right time.
Got it.
So we've been pitched at our cafe a lot by people that sell POS systems, point of sale systems, and that have remote ordering, but I've never been willing to do it because we try to do that macchiato drink that I'm talking about is like a really small drink with really nice espresso shots that's made right when you need it. And so I've never been willing to do a mobile app before because I don't know if you're going to find parking or take 2 minutes to find more parking, or if you're going to meet someone that you know on the sidewalk and then, or you're who knows what, or just forget for a little bit, or who knows, get stuck in traffic. And then that ruins the drink, and now you have a bad experience at our cafe. It's not my fault, but you still have a bad experience at the cafe. So I've never been willing to do that so we need technology to help solve that. So if we can solve that, it feels like that's the hardest thing to solve, is having these really high-end drinks ready right when people come. So GPS plus an algorithm that estimates how long it's going to take us to make things, or it's the combination of those two that allow us to start the stuff at exactly the right time. So it's the same craft process that we would use, and we hope to have lattes with nice latte art just ready out the window right when people come up, which is impossible to do without all the technology stuff. So that's really all we're trying to do, is have really good stuff ready right when people get there. But we need a bunch of technology to enable that.
Since 1999, GWATA has served as North Central Washington's Tech Alliance. As a 501c3, our mission is to bring people and technology resources together to create a thriving community. Through our work, we aim to inspire, engage, and connect.